So in this video, we'll say regarding Python programming basic built-in functions, right? So writing simple Python programs in Python. So how you can write a Python program, simple Python program. So just an example program is calculate the area of triangle. So we know that the program is written in a step-by-step manner. So which is nothing but first we have to write an algorithm, and in the second step we convert that algorithm into programming instructions or code. So algorithm for calculating area of rectangle is get the length and the breadth of rectangle from a user and then use a relevant formula to calculate the area as area equal to length into breadth, and finally display the area of the rectangle as an output to the user, right? So these are the steps. So whenever we go with the program, so this is an algorithm, and based upon this algorithm we are writing the program here. So I have considered the two variables, length, breadth. So two variables. For first variable I have taken a value as 10, and for the second variable I have taken the value as 20, and I want to print the length and the breadth value as length equal to length, breadth equal to breadth, right? So area equal to the formula for the area of a rectangle is length into breadth. So I am printing the value area at last. So for the area it will take as 10 into 20. Now it will print as 200 as output. So this it will print as area of rectangle is 200 will be printed. Coming to the input function in Python, so for reading the value or for accepting the input from the user, we use a function called as an input function. So this is a built-in function which is used to read the input from the user. Programmer can ask a user to input a value by making use of a function input. By default, the input function will take the whatever the value it takes, will consider it as a string. So variable name equal to input. So here it will take input. It will wait for the input, and whatever the input you give, like 10. Now variable name will be created, where is created, and space will be allocated. Now as I given input as 10, so it will store in the form of a string within that variable name, right? This is how you can use the input function. Reading string from the console. How you can read the string from the console? Just use the function input. So the two strings I am reading and I am printing them. str1 is the name of the variable first string. str2 is the second string. Input, enter string 1. So it will wait for giving input. So what I have given? Hello I have given. Now a string str2 equal to input, enter string 2. So enter string 2, I have given welcome to Python programming as another input. Now string 1 will store hello, string 2 str2 will store welcome to Python programming. Now I want to print hello and welcome to Python programming. So print string 1 equal to str1, print string 2 equal to str2. So str1 will after equal to hello will be printed, and str2 will be printed after this equal to string 2 equal to welcome to Python programming. So input function is used to read string from the user, What happens if by mistake user enters digits instead of characters is it will consider the digits also as a string or as a characters, right? Programmer enters a digit instead of a character. So this is an example. Enter a number, x equal to input, you entered the type of, so here please enter a number. I have given 60. Entered number is 60 will be displayed. Type of x, what is the type of x? str. So even though you are giving input, internally it will be converting that int to the string. So everything will be converted to the string. So interpreter will understand only the strings. If at all you give an integer also, it will convert that integer to the string and it will store as a string only. So for that purpose only we will be using the functions like int for converting the string into integer, for float for converting the float string into the float. Right. So in the program demonstrate the use of int and input function. This is a program. Just take print, enter, print, please enter a number. So enter a number equal to input. So number what I have considered 12 I have given. Enter, I have given 12. So here what it do, number 1 will be created, here the value 12 will be stored, like that. So print number 1. Now here in here it will replace it with 12. This is the output. Next, type of number, what it has printed. So class str. So type of number is str. Now converting type of num1 to the int. So what I have considered, num1 equal to int of num1. So here now num1 will be created. At starting it will be stored like this. Now this will be removed, it will store it as 12. So the quotations will be removed, 12 will be stored. Print num1, it has printed 12. Type of num1, so what it has printed, integer. So like this you can convert a string into integer using a function, what, using function int function, right? So instead of first reading a value and then converting to int or float, just you can use a function at the input only. Num1 equal to int of input of, please enter a number. So here whenever you give the value here like 12, so initially it will be considered as string. Now using this int, it has been converted to the 12. Now number value will be, so here initially it will be 12. It will be applied to the int function. Now it will give the output as normal 20. Now what it has given, num1 equal to 20, class equal to what, int, right? So if you miss a int function here, then the class will be string. So this is used to convert your input string into the integer. Right, the same program using calculating the area of rectangle using the int function. Enter the length and the breadth. So here I have considered n equal to quotation. That means it will take the length and the breadth as a space. So length equal to int of input. So it will read 10. Now print, enter the breadth, 20 will be taken as integer. Now area equal to, so initially what it do is, for here whenever it takes 10 will be considered as string. Now it will be given to the input, it will be giving output as 10 as integer. Breadth equal to int of input, length into breadth, so it will compute the value 10 into 20, 200 will be the output, which is also what, int only. As this is int into int, the output will also be int, right? Same program for conversion. Okay, so what I have done, x int of input, which is used to convert, this is a string to the integer. Here the string will be converted to what, a float, right? So enter integer number, int of input, so reading value into the input number and num2 the floating value. So integer can be read into num1, float value is read into the num2, and at last I am summing the num1 plus num2. So for the num1 I have taken 2 and for num2 I have taken 2.5. What will be the sum? 4.5 will be the sum. right? So for conversion of string into integer, you can use int function, and for conversion of a string into the float, you can use a float. So by default, input will read all the values in terms of a strings only. So for inner conversion, if you want integer, you can use int, and if you want a float, you can use a float before the input function, right? So there is another function eval. So at the moment of writing your program or at the runtime, you are unable to decide to take an integer or a float. So based upon the convenient, either you can read an integer value or you can read the floating value. That's up to the user mentality. So that's why what we have, there is another function called as eval, which is used to convert based upon the convenience. So if you give integer, it will accept the integer. If you give the floating value as input, it will take the input as a float. If you give the string, it will take the string as an input. Based upon the convenient, it will change. Eval function full form is evaluate. It takes the string as a parameter and returns it as if it is a Python expression. So eval print hello, so it will print hello. Eval 1 2 3, so this is a string integer, so it will convert string integer to the integer. Type of x, what it has given, int, like that. So based upon the convenient, if it is a integer string, it converts into integer. If it is a float string, it converts into the float. If it is a string, then it will take as it is. It won't change anything. It won't evaluate to any other thing. So eval is used to evaluate a string to string, string to string, string to float, and string to int, right? So eval to the input function, how you can apply is just the same thing. So int of input, enter a number, can be rewritten the same as eval. So here this will accept only int, but here accepts int, float, as well as a string. Anything can be considered as input here. So based upon user, upon programmer, if he want, he can change during the execution of the program, right? So if he want to know the concatenation of two strings, then he can use input as a strings. If he want to add values, then he can go for the integers or the float or the combination of int or float, anything he can. So automatically this can be determined by the interpreter. So there won't be any physical determination. It will be done dynamically based upon the user input, right? So the program that is used to read the details of a name, age, gender, and the height of a user and print the same values. Name will always be the string, so no need of using any eval or int or float here, right? So age will be always considered as integer, so eval. So I will be giving the eval, so I may be giving the input as int, right? Gender is a string, height maybe in terms of decimal values, that means a float, or maybe in terms of the integer value I can give. So and user details are as follows. What it will print: name, enter name Donald Trump, age 60, gender M, and enter height. Here I've considered age as integer, here as a float, and these two are strings. This is normally character, right? Right. So user details are as follow. What it has printed: name Donald Trump, age 60, gender 5.9. It has printed, right? So eval is used to take input either integer or the float or a string. Based upon the convenient, you can use. And formatting numbers and the strings, there is a function called as a format, which is used in the print statement for the formatting purpose. Okay, for format specifiers, the make string look presentable to the user for printing. So like I want to be printed much understandable way, output should be displayed in understandable manner, then I can use a function called as a format, right? So formula calculate the area of a circle. So for that I'm considering a variable radius. Radius should always be the input int. So int of input, please enter the radius. I have given 4 as an input, and then print radius equal to just printing the same which have read, and I'm calculating pi equal to 3.1428. So just declaring a variable pi, which is a pi value having the value 3.1428. Area equal to pi r square. So pi into r into radius into radius, right? So now pi 3.1428 into radius is what, 4 into 4. So what value I got? 50.2848 is the output. So that is being stored in the area. Now if I print the area of circle is, it will print the area of circle is 50.2848 as output, right? So the what we need to use is much formatting purpose. So we have to use some function called as a format item comma format specifier. You can use like the same way. So here x equal to 12.3897, print x is the format. This is how it has printed. I don't want all these values after the decimal value. I just want to display two values after the decimal. What I do is format of x comma 0.2f. that means after the dot how many values I need? Only two values. So 897 will be rounded off, as 8 is greater than 5, so it will be rounded to the 9. So now I will get the output as 12.39. So this we call it as a formatted string. So to display only two digits after the decimal point, make use of a function called as a format function. What is the syntax for it? Format of item comma format specifier. So item is here, x is an item, and specifying how after the decimal how many values you want, two values, so 0.2f. so that you have specified as a format specifier, right? Make use of a format function and display the area of a circle, the previous program only, but here what I have done, format of area comma 0.2f. so previously it was like 50.2848 something, right? So now what I have done, 0.2f, so it has rounded it off and it has printed. So after 8 it is 4 is less than 5, so it has printed 50.28 as output. This has been formatted, right? Formatting floating point numbers. So this is a width, and then we can use a precision f. So this is how you have to use within the format function for formatting floating point values. So format 10.345 comma 10.2f. so the width is 10. 0.2f is after the point. How many values you want? Only two values. A 4. This is a 5, which is greater than or equal to 5. So 4 will be rounded to the 5. 10.35, 10 comma 10.2f. after there is no dot here, so it will take a 10.00, 10.322245. so here 10 point, what is the width? 10, as it is point dot 2f. so after dot 2, so this is a 2 after the value which is less than or equal to 2, less than or equal to 5, what it will print? 10.32 as output, right? This is the usage of a format. So here this is a field width, this is a precision, this is a conversion code. So these are the lines width. So 10 point, this is a width. So this size space will be allocated for this particular value. Of all this, only two spaces has been given a value, and after that two values. So this indicates that conversion. So a floating value, it has to be converted to the floating value only. So I have mentioned f. So precision is after dot how many values? 2 values. And the width of total value, the value total width is what? 10 places will be allocated. So these are all the empty places, and this is my actual value. Dot after dot 2 values you can mention, right? Next is justifying the format. So integer number is right justified. So insert in the format specifier. The symbol has to be inserted to specify an item to be left justified. So the arrow here, the greater than symbol, which is facing, the arrow of it is facing towards the right, so towards the left, sorry, it is being towards the left, so it is left justified. That means left justified is all the values will be moved. So it has a 10 spaces here, right? This is a 10 spaces been allocated by the interpreter. So left justified means all the values will be left justified, and empty spaces will be after the left, this right side. So the values, actual value will be stored at the left side, and the empty space will be at the left part of your value, right? So here this value is stored like this value is like, here we will be having the 10 spaces. 10 spaces, we will be having 10 spaces, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? So 10 spaces we have. So of all these 10 or 2 point, so 23 2 dot 0 10. So this is right side, it has been occupied right. So right justification. Here how it is done, 10 spaces, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? So here it will go with the left places will be occupied, 1 0 1 0 dot 2 3. Now these values will be empty, and these values will empty. These values are occupied. So left occupied, right? Integer formatting. So you can format the values to the normal integer value. So use the conversion code as D and X. So D indicates the integer to be formatted, that means the decimal value to be formatted. X specifies the integer that the integer is formatted into hexadecimal integer. So 20 comma 10x. So now the 20 value will be converted into hexadecimal value. So 2 into hexadecimal value. So it will be converted into hexadecimal value. What will be converted? 20 will be converted into hexadecimal format, right? So formatting a string, same as formatting the integer value. We have the formatting a string, but here we will be specifying, this is a name of the string here, conversion code S to format a string with a specified width. So this is a width, and this indicates S. S indicates that the hello world is a string, and it is been given a space of 25 places. These are the 25 places it has been given, and S indicates that it is a string. So the same thing format here, it is what it indicates that right justification. So the values will be occupied at the right side, and it will be empty at the left part. So 20 indicates 20 width. This is a width, spaces 20 places will be allocated, will be given, and hello world is occupied at which part? At the right part, and here it has empty space at the left side. So formatting as a percentage, so you can format it. So the percentage indicates the type of the formatting you have been doing, and 0.31456. So what percent? 10%. So 31.46% will be the output. Next 3.1, the formatting is 10. after the decimal, how many values you need? 0.2. So 3310.00 percentage. So this is about the formatting a percentage. And next, formatting the scientific notation. So scientific notation is denoted with the E. You can mention it as 3L2345, that indicates 3.12E plus 01. So here we have the specifiers and we have the format types. So 10.2F, formatting floating numbers with a precision of 2, width what? 10. 10.2F, left justifying, formatting floating point number. Right justifying, this is a right side indication. Next, X hexadecimal formatting, width what? 10. Next, 20S, S is string, width is 20. Next, D indicates decimal, 10 indicates the width. And after the dot, 2 values should be. Next, percentage, 10 is a width, this is a width, and this is a percentage formatting, right? In Python built-in functions, we have some built-in functions like ABS, which is an absolute value. It will return the positive values to the negative values to the positive values. Convert negative to the value, negative to the positive, and it will print the absolute value. So max is used to return the largest value among all the values. So min is used to return the minimum value among all the values. And power is like exponential notation, x to the power of y. So if I mention like power of 2, 3, it will take as 2 power of 3. It will be giving output as 8, like that. So round is used to rounding off. So like a round of 10.34, as a 3 is less than or equal to 5, it will round it as 10. So if I take the same 10.89, 8 is greater than or equal to 5, so it will print the next value, that is 11 as output. Next, another mathematical functions. These are the normal mathematical functions like a seal. So these comes under the library called as a math library. So if you math package or a module, if you want to use it, just you have to use the package name dot and that function name or a method name. So math dot seal of 10.23, so it will what it do, round x to the nearest integer, return that integer. So next integer after the 10, the 11, so it will give the output. So floor of x, so it will round off largest value, not the greater than x. So that means 8, it will round it off and it will give the value as 18. So exp, which is an exponential notation, e power of x value will be calculated. Log x, which is a natural logarithm, and that is a base e, and log x base, which is a normal logarithm which has x and base value is, this is a base value. And sqrt, which is used to perform the calculation of square root of a value. So square root of math dot sqrt of 9, it will print the output as 3.0. Next, these are the trigonometric functions: sin x, a sin, a cos. So this will return the sine of a specific value x, and here a sin, angle in the radians, inverse sine, we call it as inverse sine, cos x and inverse cos. Tan, which is used to normal tangent of x. Degrees, which is used to convert angle into the angle x from radians to the degrees, and radians x, angle x from degrees to the radians. So I just want to write a program calculating hypotenuse of right angle triangle. So what is the hypotenuse? Square root of base square plus height square. So square root of 3 square plus 4 square, that is hypotenuse is 5. So import math, base in integer value to be taken. So I have taken the function int of input, enter the base of right angle triangle, height int of input, enter the height of right angle triangle, print triangle details as follow. So base as well as height will be printed here. So 3, 4 will be printed. Now hypotenuse equal to math dot. So what it do is it will perform square root of base into base, base into base plus height into height, right? So square root of what is the base, 3 into 3 plus what is the height, 4 into 4, right? Square root of 9 plus 16, square root of 25, that is 5. So the output will be the 5. Where it is being stored? Hypotenuse. So in the hypotenuse it will store the value as 5. So now when you print hypotenuse, it will print as 5.0 as output. Next, there are two functions which are built-in functions, ORD and CHR. Internally, whatever the data you write, it will be computer will convert it into zeros and ones. So for the conversion of zeros and ones, there is a need of some standard code called as ASCII code. ASCII, called as American Standard Code for Information Interchangeable. So is one of the most popular encoding scheme. It is a 7-bit encoding. That means every character value will be converted to the ASCII, and ASCII values can be converted into the bits of 7-bit length. So ASCII uses the numbers from 0 to 127 to represent all the characters. So there is a built-in function ORD which is used to return ASCII value of a given character, where character is indicated as CH. So ORD of A which will return 65. So the ASCII value of capital A is 65, ASCII value of capital Z is 90, ASCII value of small a is 97, ASCII value of small z is 122, right? So this is ORD, and the reverse of it is a CHR, which is returns a character corresponding to its ASCII code. CHR of 90. So 90 is a ASCII code for Z, so it will print output as Z. So 65, what is the ASCII value of A is 65, so it will give the output as capital A. 97, small a ASCII value, so it will print A. So small z, which ASCII's value is 122. If you pass the ASCII value, it will return the normal value, right? So these are the two functions. And then program to find the difference between ASCII code of any lowercase letter and its corresponding uppercase letter. If you want to find the difference, char 1 equal to B, char 2 equal to B. I want to know the difference. So can you find the difference of characters? No, right? So internally what the interpreter do is capital B ASCII value and small b, two ASCII values will be considered, and it will subtract those two ASCII values. Small b is 98, capital B is 66. What will be the output now? 32. So it will print the output as 32, like that. So what I am doing, I am considering two characters, char 1, char 2. Char 1 is small b, char 2 is capital B. Now I want to print the ASCII values of char 1 and char 2. ORD of char 1, ORD of char 2, 98, 66. Difference between ASCII values of two letters is ORD of char 1 minus ORD of char 2. That means 98 minus 66. So what it will print? It will print the output as 32 for me. Like this, if you want to perform some mathematical operations on the characters, just use a function called as ORD, which will convert those characters into the ASCII value, and it is able to be perform the function like subtraction, multiplication, whatever the operation you want, you can perform on them, right? So this is one of the function. This is the representation of the list, where I have named it as L as a name of the list. A, B, C are the items in a list. I in L, that means I is an index values for each and every value. In is a membership operator. Here what it do is, so for looping purpose in Python, so normal we have like I, for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Like this is a syntax. But in Python we don't have increment and decrement operators. So for that purpose we are using the another syntax for the for loop for I in L, or for I in range of L, like that we can use for I in, right? So we have to use a colon, and these two statements are nothing but the suit of this for. So the header is for I in L is a header, the colon, and these two are the statements which are following some indentation here. AC equal to ORD of I, first initially I will be assigned with the A value. ORD of AC, inside the AC, ORD of I, what is A capital A is in L. Yes, condition is true. That means within a L we have capital A, capital B, and capital C. So I in A, yeah, I in L, condition is true. So now what we have to do, we have to enter into the loop, and within the loop, what is the first statement I have? AC equal to ORD of I. So ORD of I, what is the I value here? Capital A. So the output of it is ASCII value of A is 65. It will be stored in AC. Now what is the next statement I have? Print AC. So it will print capital A for 65 as output. Next what it do? I will be incremented, and now it will go to this specific item, that is B. So within I, now B will be stored now. So B is within the list, condition is true. So what we do, entering into the loop, AC value is ORD of B, right? So now 65 will be removed, 66 will come, so it will print now 66 as output. Now within I, it will be storing the value as C. Condition is true, so entering into the loop, ORD of C. So that means 67 will be the so in AC it will store 67, the output will be 67. This is how it goes on. So this is the conversion of specific values from normal character to the ASCII values, from ASCII values to the characters. So it's another function called as a range, which is like so you will be using I++, right? So starting from 1, 2, 3 up to n number values, it goes on. In the same way here, when you mention like 65, 91 range, that means it goes with the first I value will be 65. Next it goes with I equal to 66, 67, 68 up to 91 is like 91 minus 1, that is 90. Up to 90 it goes on. So the range function, which will be having the start end, start comma end comma step. Default value of start is 0, default value of end is n minus 1, default value of step is 1. So here what I am doing, taking the values, converting them, ASCII values I am considering, I am converting them into character. Num equal to CHR of 65. Yes, it will be printing num value as A. Next 66 B, 67, 68, 69, 70 up to 90 is Z. It goes on. Thank you.